Jura Danye Jambaya Sorma Zerando Sharje Sanye Ye bai shirai raje bongde sar yong ba do gara de se o ba le ye wa ne zeng ge sar bong yong de zeng zheng dong zha jia be ling wang jin do che re zheng zong zeng be zeng bar wei ne son zhe song ga ma ning xin le hong zhe yi xie sen bai jian zhang jiu sa ho ba hoi da dai ni mi ten la lian tou le wong zhi ren e la jian zhang me do be dan mar me zhi Sharze Romo Danjen Juban Bor Om Sarva Dadang Gada Abegen Sadana Shizor Kunjie Jewa Newan Kor Kegan Jema Dajin Jelama Jewon Jele Nam Nam Wejin Jen Wala Dag Lila Dembar Ju Benze Shanjana Sado Benza Argam Sarva Kunza Munga Samundra Savarena Samaye Aho Om Benze Shanjana Sado Benzara Pade Sarva Benza Munga Samundra Savarena Samaye Ho Om Benze Shenjana Sadom Benzara Pipe Sarva Kunza Munga Samundra Savarana Samaye Ho Om Benze Shenjana Sadom Benzara Dipan Sarva Kunza Munga Samundra Savarana Samaye Ho Om Benze Shenjana Sadom Benzara Aloke Sarva Kunza Munga Samundra Savaran Samaye Ho Om Benze Shenjana Sadom Benzaran Gende Sarva Kunza Munga Samundra Savarana Samaye Ho Om Benze Shenjana Sadom Benzaran Nevede Sarva Kunza Munga Samundra Savaran Samaye Hong Om Benze Shenjana Sadom Benza Sar Shabda Sarva Kunza Munga Samundra Savarana Samaye Wisdom, his wisdom is brilliant like the sun, free of the clouds of true words, and perceive the various steps of knowledge in the true nature. For this reason, he holds the wisdom text at his heart, he has compassion for all beings who suffer from the darkness of ignorance in the presence of samsara as a father for only son. Like a thunderclap, he awakens those who are sleeping in ignorance and losing the charm of karma through the 60 branch of Haramani's speech. He wears the wisdom sword to cut the settling of suffering and the despair, the darkness of confusion. In the Bodhisattva form, he is pure from beginningless time. fully accomplishing the 10 levels and perfect in the body of all knowledge. A supplicated human Manjushri adorned by the 112 Son of Buddha to dispel the darkness of my ignorance. Kange lo de dim nye den dara nye dara nam dai rab sarwa. Jie nye dong gen jie yen ze zhe nye jie tu gar lin wang zeng. Kanda zi be zong rai ma ren dong 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 ha rai ji zer wei. Rozo gen lai pu jie dar zi yin lai chu jie yan dian song. Rô ta jie roi niu moi ni long le jie jia roi rong zi jing. Ma re men zi re dong na re nyu ge ji nie jun zi ra jie na. Do ne ta jen sa jen dar sen yong de le zo jar se ge. Jie zhai jie dan ju nie jin zhe da lo men se ju lan de. You who are the perfect, beautiful body, whose flame of wisdom blazes and dispel the darkness of worldly ignorance, I prostrate before you and praise to Manjushri. Yung ne ke len chang wai bo, yi xie zhong ne rab den bar, yi den de mo men sar wa, jiang ba yang la san ba. At the heart chara is a sun disk on which stands the moon syllable surrounded by the mantra circling clockwise. In golden light, light radiates from the mantra, invoking all the blessings and the image of all Buddhas, which dissolve into the moon syllable. Again, light radiates and transforms the outer universe into the spheres, puring and purify all the obscuration of sentient beings, who are they transformed into Manjushri, or recite a mantra together. The leg then returns to the syllable. Mum te tu gar nye de mum dar nga chen je. Sen do u je rang je ye go re. Sen je so de jar gen sin de de. Mum de la ru te pe nu jar ye. Ni jor ju je sem jian zhe bai jiang, ran zhe la jor gen jiang nga dai zhou, wu zer zhen de sa wong la de me. Om wang ge zhou re mong, wang ge zhou re mong, om wang ge zhou re mong, wang ge zhou re mong, om wang ge zhou re mong, wang ge zhou re mong, om wang ge zhou re mong, om wang ge zhou re mong. No wang ge zhou re mong, 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 wang ge zhou re mong. Om wang ge zhou re mong, wang ge zhou re mong, Om Wange Shore Mo, 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 Om Wange Shore Mo. Om Wange Shore Mo, 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 Om Wange Shore Mo. Om Wange Shore Mo, 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 Om Wange Shore Mo. Om Wange Shore Mo, 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 Wange Shore Mo. No Wange Shoromo, Wange Shoromo, Wange Shoromo, Wange Shoromo, Wange Shoromo. Oh Wange Shoromo, 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 Wange Shoromo. No Wange Shoromo, Wange Shoromo, Wange Shoromo, Wange Shoromo, Wange Shoromo, Wange Shoromo.
Khenpo, where'd you go?
Wange Shoromo, Wange Shoromo, Wange Shoromo. Oh, Wange Shoromo, Wange Shoromo. I have to get the text. Oh, Wange Shoromo, Wange Shoromo, Wange Shoromo. So here I'm going to share the teaching. Dongge doje jaje reisen dong yin je me de de je bong jong ba ser je lembo da ver ji be ge jaje jar be jala sor wan de dorje yang je de lo na ro da mar ba me lai ji je gang bo ba Amo rubai jarwai digombe kajo lama nalai zorwai de zeden chijen jenra uzurje dalo tumo menbai rabzarane kadan denje yonglo dobaye loje boben hawa zarde so Yambara doge sen la ye la men jime Benzo Shala Sorwande, Gunju Dobang Powar Sinje Rome Chije Yenje Bodang Tusong Sanje Genje Ngoye Ransen Chige Nuzong Donzebe Sabe Lame Shala Sorwande. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Morning. So I'm going to share with you the long press to Manjushri, the continued teaching followed by the last couple of weeks. So this long press to Manjushri composed by all the Nalanda painted us together, blessed by Manjushri. So this press is followed by the 3 different levels: press to mind, press to the speech, press to the body. So we finish the press to the mind. So press to mind has the main important is 2 qualities. Manjushri purify all his obscurations, and that's why he has knowledge, omniscience of wisdom, and then also he has compassion for all beings, economic compassion every sentient beings. So that omniscient wisdom, compassion, the 2 qualities is mine. So then second is press to Manjushri's speech. Speech, so root takes like a thunderclap, awakening those who are sleeping in ignorance and losing the charm of karma through the 60 branch of Haramana speech. He wields the wisdom sword to cut the saddling of suffering and to dispel the darkness of confusion. So this speech quality is due to his omniscient wisdom and great compassion. So that's the reason the speech is arise to benefit for others. The Manjushri speech is actually 60 branch of Haramana speech. So arise like order to share all the Buddha's teachings. This all the Buddha's teaching is subsumed to the 3 categories that last way we talked 3 categories. Don't commit any wrongdoing. So that is all the basic teaching. All the peace teaching is subsumed into that category. Perfect virtues. So that is a compassion teaching. Or the Mahayana teaching is subsumed into that category. And then completely calm your own mind. So that is the Vajrayana teaching. Is all Vajrayana teaching is subsumed into that category. So that the Manjushri rise the 60 branch Haramana's voice is sharing these 3 category teachings for other beings, because due to the capacity, different levels. So that part we already talked last week. Now we are today. We share already the Milarepa's quote, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Oh, thank you. So I really like this Milarepa's quote. So you have to think about that again. That give you courage for us to do practice. So this quote recognizes Dharma is very important. So Buddha Dharma Sangha, usually we talk about Buddha Dharma Sangha, but Buddha is the same as a doctor, Dharma is the same as medicine. So without medicine, cannot recover the illness. The Dharma is introduced to our emotions. So long as we have emotion, we are same as they become patients. So then patients need medicine. Even the good doctor is there, but without medicine, really cannot do much change. So that's why doctor give medicine. Patients have to eat medicine like that. So we are same as patients. So we have to practice Dharma. Long as we practice Dharma, we can free from suffering. So we can purify our negativity, obscurations. So I want to read again this Milarepa quote. Some of Milarepa disciples said to him, "You must be the reincarnation of the Buddha or a great Bodhisattva. You achieve enlightenment in a way that would be impossible for an ordinary person." See, that's the usually people think. Well, that kind of person is like come from like many eons ago, like already purified karma. So maybe some, Buddha, Bodhisattva's emanation. They think that way. Please tell us whose reincarnation you are. Milarepa replied. It is wonderful that you have such pure vision that you perceive me as a Buddha. But as for the Dharma, you are completely mistaken. See, if you really think about it, the Dharma is mistaken. Why is it for the Dharma you are completely mistaken? Because the Milarepa is something special person coming into the world. So then all the practice is useless become. So his hardship go through all the practice is useless, right? He already has perfect qualities before than that. Then Dharma is not important to become. So also, if think this way, that's just depending, like our beginners, we always think, oh, this person is something special, is Buddha, Bodhisattva's emanation. You think that way, really help for beginners' mind. You have something, your protection, support. So same is like Christians, these other religions believe in the creator gods. So that is good for beginners, and someone always they don't have like their own individually enough to practice, like you rely on someone, then you think that person is something special. So that helps the individual level where mine. That's also good way to. It's good, some levels, but you really into the practice of Dharma. Then that thoughts also you have to get rid of. You have to go more beyond in that. So this actually helps a lot of people, because someone is like, we think, oh, it's a special person, Buddha's emanation. So have strong people devotion arise to that person. That person can help them to put in the Dharma. They can take to the right directions. But then one day you are in the right directions. You don't need to rely on the person. You have to rely on the Dharma. So Dharma is then most important, right? It's still you rely on the person, then you are big mistake. So we have to rely on the Dharma. That's why Milarepa says, like, beginner, he also not denied actually this kind of like, it's okay for the beginner people need to think that way. But you really wanted to become practitioner, Dharma practitioner, then you cannot rely on the person who always think something special. Like we have rely on Dharma, we have to practice Dharma, like Dharma. Long as we practice Dharma, we have become special person. The where this special person is come from is Dharma. So we say the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, where they are come from? They are come from bodhicitta. So that is a Dharma, right? And who practices the Dharma, so that person can be Bodhisattva, that person can become Buddha. So that's why wonderful that you have such pure vision that you are perceived as a Buddha, but as for the Dharma, you are completely mistaken. You don't believe that the Dharma has the ability to completely purify all obscurations within one lifetime. So see, if we become more practitioner, then rely on the Dharma. So we practice the Dharma. Dharma can purify our all obscuration, and we become achieved to enlightenment. We get high realization. So that's all is like due to the Dharma practice quality. One lifetime we can become Buddha. So if someone is you think, oh, that is a special person, then the practice Dharma is like the Dharma and the person is become no related to each other, become separate. Because person is already special already. Then the all practice Dharma is like whatever they do hardships, like it's totally different. So in this section also, it's very good if you read the Garchen Rinpoche's biography. He have a discussion with the Khenpo Samdup together. So Khenpo Samdup asked question Garchen Rinpoche, do you practice Mahamudra or this something practice? Like he asked questions. He said, Garchen Rinpoche told Khenpo Samdup, yes, I'm doing this, receive Genje Mahamudra from Chimi Dorje. And his father, and he doing this practice. He know how to do the meditate Mahamudra. His then also he said yes, it's when he has emotions and something strong negative arise, so he chant the Genje Mahamudra. That helps his become mind more peaceful and got into more, like connect with the Dharma. So he told that Khenpo Samdup. Then Khenpo Samdup told him, how about your, how to say that is Zingba. Konzeng. Konzeng means like strongly hatred to someone is holding that in your mind. Hatred, someone. So Gachin Rinpoche, when he was in the prison, when he met Khenpo Samdup, that time he has very strong hatred to the communists. So he wanted to say, destroy communists, like whatever he can. So that hatred he kept in his mind very strong. And then during that time in the prisoners, like they're very close friendly together, they talk each other. And what they did, something. So Gachin Rinpoche share, he told them is fight to like communists. That is my really joyful or something very want, and I have done something good thing because these communists destroy Dharma. I have to fight with them. So he told like some that kind of a, I cannot exactly say like that word what he says, like he's saying some that kind of to in the group there. he said Khenpo Minsa was there, he listening. And then one day Khenpo Minsa told him, that is your misunderstand, wrong thinking. And so what is like when you practice, where is your heat rated? Where is that? So Gachen Rinpoche give answer is his practice is in that another place. His heat rated is another place. They have two separate sections. So that they both are not same together, same place, but they have different rooms. He holding different rooms. So he treated hold another part and he has practiced in another part. So that he give answer to Khenpo Minsa. Then Khenpo Minsa told him that is the big mispractice Dharma. So when you practice Dharma, that Dharma must be introduced to your heat rated. Long as your heat rated is in your mind, always keep that one in there. So your practice is not going to right direction. That is not benefit, remove the, not contradict to, like not introduce to your heat rated negativity. So Khenpo Minsa told him that practice is like incorrect. So Gachen Rinpoche told him he has practice because he has separate, he treated, he kept there, but on the other hand, he has practice. So Mahamudra practice, like whatever he heard from his father or his Ru Guru, another Chimi Dorje. So they talked to him, he said he practiced that another hand, another he kept, he treated his mind. He don't want to give up that he treated. It's just when get opportunity, something like comes out, whatever he can do, like destroy communists. That kind of like he's strongly keeping, and his mind, and also he thinking about, like in other some maybe country, destroy communists. That kind of he strongly kept in his mind. So see that practice is an example Dharma and he treated is become separate, right? The Dharma didn't introduce to he treated. So I mean the like see his teaching practice Mahamudra, but that not introduced to his anger. So then Khenpo Minsa told him this, you have to practice this Mahamudra is introduced to he treated. So you have to remove that in your mind. That is your enemy. Not your enemy is communist. So communists, due to some these leaders, like negative aspirations arise. That's why due to that many beings suffering. But the people who suffering also due to karma. So Khenpo Minsa told Gachen Rinpoche, it is our karma. We have to practice, Mahamudra practice have to introduce to our heat rated, and also have to practice more compassion and tongli, that kind of teaching him. So the Gachen Rinpoche said that helps him really transform, change his life, kind of like, the in the present it's become 20 years is not meaningful, it's become meaningful present. So Khenpo Minsa, he shared these different teachings for him. So there's also like say it's the same thing as Milarepa's teaching here. We have to put effort and practice Dharma. Some this realizer teachers knows what is our problem. So what we need to do, they can help us that, but then actually we have to put effort, we have to practice, right? So we have to practice Dharma is introduced to our negative emotions. That's also Milarepa did, that's why his one lifetime is become Buddha. So then another hand, here is example in Tibetan tradition, we choose the reincarnations and it looks like the person is something special come to in the world to benefit. So that is like many confused area there. We, like harder to understand that part. Not only you, even in the monastery, like it's everyone, like in the community, like Buddhists also get many confused there too. So when I was Khenpo Rinpoche's place, he shared and this reincarnation part. So reincarnation means not like someone coming to special, come back to again. Some teachers could be come back, not everyone. He says, like he told there, in the like thousands of monks there, he told them the reincarnation means like dependent. So some is like really the bodhisattvas coming back again. It's previous one, like they have a really true choice. They high realize that someone could be come back to same again. But he said mostly is not like that. Mostly is teachers who going to pick up reincarnation means they're practice and also they do divinations. They do also achi puja, and they just pick up many kids and look to which one really benefit someone if give the name, so they put the others like say, okay, you are that previous one's blessing one, blessing one. So they try to say like put a reincarnation, but actually, okay, you can do if you like bless one. So that way, follow the systems. Like that's why people are confused. Not everyone is like really reincarnation coming back. Do you understand what I mean? But each monastery has like, some has like 5, some has 10, some has 2, some has 1 reincarnation all the time choose. So that everyone is not previous one, but some teachers like law and maybe, okay, if I pick up this person is representative and then could be help, so that they do pray for that person to choose that one. So other previous one could be already enlightenment, not coming back again. Is who has a very high realized. Some maybe, come back, but maybe no benefit again. So that's why there's Khenpo Rinpoche have to pick up some just, like who can follow like kind of the teaching, like follow the teaching, hold the teaching. So that kind of they're picking up. But then they have to put more heart and effort to carry that name. If they don't do that, then that's also become, useless too. So that's why it's long time ago in Tibet tradition, culture is speaking about reincarnation. Is when they get reincarnation, young lama, that give really good training for them. That do really good training, and actually they also have to go very hardship, difficulty, because they have to study and learn all these rituals, everything, and become their part of that society. They have like same is like previous one, like really good happening. you know, due to the trainings, practice. So that time these tutors who they can do for that who pick up the young reincarnation one, because at that time is like easy to do due to the culture, very easy to training, giving training, good training. But this time is not easy. This time is like you really cannot give training same as before, like long time ago. So that if you going to give like that kind of training, so you have to really put hardship for the person to do that. So in this time, I don't think so most can do that way. So that's why sometimes reincarnation also hope that we have reincarnations because they don't have like same as previous ones. The reason is because they cannot do the same as before, like training. Do you understand? Or no? I don't know. I give you more confusions.
So are you saying that they look for qualities in the young monks and then name them as a reincarnation because they have the qualities to teach sometimes?
Not that way. So that's the part is like really complicated area. So just reincarnation means not we don't have to believe like previous one exactly. So someone like okay, so maybe if he goes a good way, he can have benefit. Think that is a great way. Uh, myself example, Gachin Rinpoche, I don't like know his previous Gachin Rinpoche's reincarnation or not. He's really or not, I don't know. But he has that name. He really put effort. He has right teacher. He practices. So that's our trust. And he's become like he has qualities. Do you understand? So that's where you have to really love in this life person. So previous like someone is really great, but maybe already enlightenment, not coming back again. Okay, some previous one is not that great, but in this one is much better the previous one too. Some have like that too. We don't know that part. Okay, so the main point Malarepa here is this guy, his disabled thing. Malarepa is reincarnation, previous something like Buddha Vajradhara or Bodhisattva someone. So Malarepa said, no, I'm nothing. So I just ordinary person practice Dharma. That helps me, change my life, and I get these qualities. So it's due to the Dharma. So that is like all answers. You don't have to say, oh, this reincarnation is good or bad or something like, because they're practicing Dharma, they're all good. If they don't practice Dharma, they become already getting the obstacle, stuck with the obstacle. So we pray for them, not criticize. Main point is, okay? So that's the most important. Some people think, oh, previous one reincarnation, why not like this right now? So they criticize lots, but that's also actually mistake, misunderstand. They due to their karma and due to like all the also circumstances, other beings and the individual, the teachers, the connections, karmas like become benefit or not is also due to the many conditions. So not only the everything is up to one person's, you know, uh, karma, right? Many due to many karmas there. Okay, so anyway, I wanted to go more easy way. We don't go that section. So that part is hardest. Many also big teachers cannot like make decisions. So anyway, when I heard this from Khenpo Jimmy Prince, I get more clear understanding. So then I know what it means reincarnation. I don't have to really, like all thinking about he is really 100% previous one or not. So I don't analyze that become. So I look in that person is doing benefit or not, that person is dharma or not, just that's it. So long as that person is in the dharma and the benefit, yeah, it's like great. And then they don't have that qualities, we think, or maybe due to some obscuration. So that's why it's happening. So then no need to criticize and no need to think like something like bad, So that really help for our own mind individually. So here we don't have that many, talk about reincarnation things, but in Tibetan culture we have lots that kind of reincarnation talk about. But then sometimes like some reincarnation doesn't do good well and the people criticize lots. So that is like, I think it's a big mistake. The reason is because the reincarnation means like not everyone is coming back to Buddha. So you get that name, you have to do the job. Example, we get names like judge name, we get name for presidents, we get name for many different this. That during that time they have to do that job right, good way, correctly. So if they do that, it's perfect. So like that way you have to understand. And then we go to here, page 13 today, I think page 13, right? Correct? Page 13, bottom there.
Yes.
Where the wisdom swore to cut the saddling of suffering and to dispel the darkness of confession. So we were the wisdom sword. So Manjushri has knife, sword, very long, sharp. So that is, not weapon for harming some others. It's like cut the saddling of suffering. So other weapons create suffering. These weapons cut off the suffering. It's totally different. Okay, we have so many different kind of weapons. They are harming for others, create causes of suffering for others. But this Manjushri, wisdom silver, cut the saddling of suffering and dispel the darkness of confusion. So it's representative wisdom. That's why it's wisdom means like knife is sharp, sword, wisdom sword. Sword is sharp. So that is like representative wisdom. Manjushri is the embodiment of the knowledge and wisdom of all Buddhas. Here's the, that is the main point. Manjushri means like embodiment of knowledge and wisdom of all Buddhas. Traditionally depicted with a silver in his right hand and the text in his left. So he hold the right side is the silver and the left the text. The text is knowledge, representative knowledge. Wisdom, the silver is representative with the wisdom. The silver represents the wisdom of all of the Buddhas. We press to Manjushri, realizing it is due to your wisdom and compassion. Manjushri, what your speech activities benefit all beings. Your enlightening qualities cut the saddling of suffering. So the knife, the sword is just example, right? It's representative. The main essence is actually when Manjushri, your speech activity benefit all other beings, your enlightening qualities cut the saddling of suffering. So what is the Manjushri enlightening quality? Manjushri enlightening quality is the omniscience of wisdom and the compassion And due to that, he's sharing the teaching for others. So that is always a quality, meaningful quality, Manjushri. So that helps for other beings, cut the settling of suffering. So that is the same as represented with the silver, which is the self-grasping of I and me and mine, you, release or ignorance. So Manjushri cut the settling of suffering is the, cut our self-grasping. What means self-grasping? I and me and mine. So long as we have that, we are stuck in samsara, endless suffering. So thinking about I and me and mine is called, like our samsaric thinking, samsara's thoughts. That is samsara's thoughts. So wanted to benefit others, comes compassion for others, love for others. So that is like all its enlightening qualities, like spiritual qualities. Samsara is negative, is I and me and mine. So that's create all the causes of suffering. See, I, me, and mine that is negative, which is the positive is introduced to that. Love, compassion, bodhicitta is introduced to in that kind of thinking, negative thinking. So these two is cannot be together. These two means like compassion with bodhicitta, I and me cannot be together. So when you have a compassion, that means like you're thinking about others. When you have a bodhicitta, you're thinking about others, not thinking about I and me. When you're thinking about I and me, it's called self-grasping. That time we don't have love and compassion for others. So you release all ignorance. So Manjushri, this enlightening quality, canceling of suffering is like he release all this negativity, ignorance. With the release of all ignorance, the origination of suffering is removed. Therefore, the result of origination of suffering, which is the suffering of suffering, is removed. And then all of the branch of suffering are cut. The result is that beings are free from the suffering of birth, old age, sickness, and death. So long as we remove our ignorance, the ignorance is, is the origination of suffering. So all the sufferings cause is origination of is ignorance and the emotions. So long as we origination of ignorance is removed, all the suffering is removed. So that's why it's like due to this teaching section is like so many different levels, method, individual levels. Remove suffering is. So not only one method to remove our suffering. That's why so many different Dharma teachings have removed the suffering, means like so many different levels. Example, the sickness, disease is the suffering. So many different kind of sickness, that's always a different kind of suffering. So that's the reason we have so many different medicines. So one medicine cannot recover all the sickness and the disease. We need so many different kind of medicines. That's the reason like Buddha shares so many different kind of teachings for us. And then when we practice Dharma, is due to our ability, capacity level. So the removing our sufferings. So example, some medicines cannot be suited for someone that get more affected, like affected, like they become the medicine is not really good for the person. The person has maybe another disease or something, so that medicine doesn't help that person. So some people take that medicine is recover the illness, but actually, example, two person has the same illness, but still one medicine cannot benefit both. Because one person eat that medicine is 100% can recover. The one person eat that medicine maybe affected another something again. That's why we see right now we have this, what is the called the vaccine, right? That's also say some people cannot take that. So like that, that's why the teaching is like that. That's the reason we need wisdom to understand what we need. We have to understanding. Someone practices some levels of dharma, we cannot do that. So some people doing something, we can do more better than that too. Someone doing something, we cannot do that. So that's all have to follow by our individual level. So if we don't know that, then that's due to the also ignorance. We don't have enough wisdom. So practice Manjushri helps also helps really our individual level what we need to do. That we understanding clearly that part what we have to do. Not thinking about this yogi practitioners doing like that, I wanted to do that. So that is become incorrect too. That's why it's so many different levels teachings. See, we have medicines, so maybe that is your medicine. Maybe when I eat that is maybe poison, because don't know what happened. So like that, when Buddha he shared the teachings like beginners don't act same as practitioners. Practitioners don't act same as the yogis. Yogis don't act same as siddhas. Siddhas don't act same as Buddha. So he told that clearly. The main point is beginners they don't do same as the practitioners. Means maybe practitioners can give more benefit for others. So they can give generosity and they can do like something benefit others, but beginners cannot do that way. So cannot do generosity like same as practitioners. Beginners just chant prayer, do aspiration, no harming for others. So stay that very strong. It's better than you going to give generosity happening for someone. If someone has big problems, someone going on big problems, so you go into there, it's like you talk with them, try to solve the problem. But long as you have same emotions, when you get there, you are same other people like, stuck there because you cannot help them. Even you cannot help them, you are stuck with them. You create more suffering each other, everyone. So that's why the Buddha's teaching means like followed by our individual level. So then generosity also like have different levels. When you're going to giving things for others, like some beginners, like it's something simple ones, easy ones. If you give that, after you don't get regret again. Like that kind you have to give first. If you cannot do that, you can do mentally. Your mind practice that. Your mind practice giving generosity. So that way we have to create like more used to, practice used to, habituate again and again. Then you can become practitioner. Practitioner means like then you can do generosity. You can evolve like big difficulty situations. You can help them, like can help others without your emotion. So then you can benefit more others. So like that way. And also then when you become less grasping, less fixations, so whatever you have, all is like whatever you're holding, everything is not like kind of a causes of suffering. So whatever you have is become or is like is offering things, offering object, become create causes of happiness, create causes of accumulation, merit object. So that kind is like dependent individual level. Beginners see even the just not really important things, they are so strong attached to that, become that is causes of suffering. And the practitioner has like same as the kingdom, they hold, but it's not any attached to that, no fixation to that. So they're not affected their own practice. Maybe they use that everything is become offerings. So that kind, is or is followed by individual level. That's why Buddha share many different teachings. So it's dependent individual dispositions. So when we practice Manjushri, it helps our mind go into the Dharma and helps us to really understand the meaning of Dharma and its benefits. So Dharma means must benefit for us. Dharma means like introduced to our emotions. So that is the Dharma. Otherwise, you cannot be say Dharma. If think is you drawing something is a Dharma, but that is create more desire, more like attached to that, and then that is not benefit, introduce your emotions, that create more emotions, then shouldn't do that one. Even like the labor of Dharma, but cannot do that. So that's why this all the different Yadam deity practicing ornaments, object, it's different because due to the dependent individual level. So if you, example, where really strongly desire, example, attach or fixation to the object, even that you have a statue, something like you so strong fixation to the statue and attached to that object. But then that statue has become not really special object. You have to maybe offer it to someone, give it to someone. So that statue is not benefit you. Kept maybe very simple picture. That is more benefit to you. So example, we have ancient statues like costs like lots money, like example, $20,000, $50,000, like that kind of like causes a statue special. If you have that statue, become your very strong attached fixation. You think I have also valuable, and if I can sell this statue, I can like have 50,000 or like something. You have so strong fixation on that object that not really help you anything. Your introduce your emotions. That statue is more create your emotions. So you kept the simple picture, no attached to like that. That helps to support you when you meditate. That picture is a support to you. Example, then that way, picture is much better than the very expensive statue. So the expensive statues could be very special object, but due to our individual level, create causes of suffering. Because attached to that object. And then you have just simple picture, tanka, that when you practice meditate, that helps you, support you, and then that's a much better, that is become more special object. See, that's where, like Dharma also, we have a basic teachings, like last time when we talked, the basic teaching, Mahayana teaching, Vajrayana teaching, which is suited for you. So that is the Dharma. That is the more performed Dharma for you. Not the book says this is performed. Performed means we have to pick up what is performed for us, because which Dharma is benefit us, which is suited for us, that is the performed Dharma. That Jigten Songkong clearly mentioned about that. He said, other teachers talk Mahamudra is performed. He says, my performed practice is Nindo practice. So actually, I don't think so that for him, but that is like good for the instruction for the beginners, giving like Pita instruction for beginners. Some people don't have like basic teachings that they wanted to go very high, depth something, but then go there, because due to karma, not yet that level give up everything. You lost. So that's why you practice Ningdo and practice basic things, like become more connections, create more more connect with the Dharma, purify karma, and you go into more deeper, more stable, more like understanding. So that's a much better way to follow like that too. So that's why Jigten Songkong said, Ningdo is more profound for me. So I think that is a good Pita instruction for the beginners, especially in this time. Everyone wanted to have like Hayang Gurwa, Yamin Taka, or like like this Tantra, like high. Which one is the teacher say high? So then they say, oh, I wanted that. That is the practice highest one. So that's why we have to follow the basic thing too. But then in this time, so this is just I share with you what I thought. Gachen Rinpoche is sharing this like usually we don't really share the like publicly, like does like this big practice teachings. But I think he due to his compassion, because life is very short and people don't have a connect much with the Dharma. And even, like he give this empowerment and the teachings, like you get karmic imprints, connections to Dharma. So rather than, we say, oh, you cannot do this, you only focus for meditate, precious human body, So rather than only for ask them to do that, so he giving these many teachings, I think it's like good way to like people get karmic imprints, connections to that. Because we don't have much time to all this like follow basic things like one by one to study, like same is followed by monastery education way. So then long as you have good devotion and the trust Dharma and the Yadam deities, then you just receive this high teachings. Also, I think it's good to another way to like benefit for others, because due to his compassion. So each teacher has a different method to benefit their students. That's why one teacher does something like you cannot say, oh, everyone have to do like that way. Think about Khenpo mentioned Gachen Rinpoche. Khenpo mentions students Gachen Rinpoche. Gachen Rinpoche say Khenpo mentions my Ru Guru, but they're doing totally different. Not same. Okay, so Khenpo mentioned, I know during that time he knows what his student needed to guide. He only follow his way to guide for them. That is, he knows how to benefit them. He not give you any empowerment, any this Mahamudra teachings without a Nindo practice first. So he asked them to do like, he can't do that. That time is like the contradiction is exactly like that. So he don't follow the person, means like, doesn't matter who you are. So long as he going to him to ask teaching, he just let them to do all the basic things first to maintaining first. Doesn't matter who you are, like you say, I am the reincarnation, Garchen Rinpoche or something. Doesn't matter. He said, do this Nindo first. Same is like just ordinary people, same thing. He does everyone same thing. So then he kept them. It's like, I have a picture I can show you. He's where he live, really high mountain area, really cold place. The monks have to stay there years, like under the tent. They cook outside or inside the tent, and they have to stay in the tent, like frozen winter, or really cold time. Have to stay a couple of years there to do this practice, and then he giving Mahamudra Dzogchen teaching. So he can do them. He knows that they need like that. That student that can go through that condition. If they follow that, they become more practitioner. It's they become great way to achieve the like the goal. So that's why he required to do that way. So no thing about Garchen Rinpoche. He's in the other country, like in the Western country, it's totally different conditions, 100% different. And people don't have like same is like when Khenpo means he teach like that kind of students, because not like they can have time to do that. The people don't have that kind of courage to do that way, not yet that way. Then what Garchen Rinpoche he can have, I thought he can have for much more open for everyone, and much more, like connect with more people and reach more people, create more karmic imprints. This, rather than you say, I don't want to talk, I don't want to share, the keeping the more secretly, better, you just reach more people to connect with the Dharma. So that is due to his compassion. So that's we have to recognize. And also today he's going to share the Yamintaka empowerment. You have opportunity to receive that. So you can join that, to receive. Also great. I think sometimes due to this year, coronavirus, it's helps Dharma is more become like what is it, they become more easy to receive. So that's why you have to like opportunity to receive empowerment. If much ever you can join the practice, also okay. So I think that's why also like we can think about another way. So understand that like connect with more this practice. Even if we cannot completion, that I know. Example myself, I cannot accomplish all this Yadam that is receive empowerment. But sometimes I just connect with some teacher, I connect with the Yadam Deity, I just receive empowerment. So then we don't have like future, maybe don't have this kind of opportunity more, So now we have opportunity to receive that due to his compassion. So I think we receive is great, when he do these big teachings. So then the Yamintaka is actually Manjushri. Is peaceful is Manjushri, wrathful is Yamintaka. So then depending, some like just talk about Manjushri. It's more connections, but some is like talk about the Yamintaka is more connections. So Buddha has many different activities that can benefit different ways. So that's why even same Buddha, but some people have more connect with Yamintaka than Manjushri, peaceful one, So then some has more connection with the wrathful than peaceful. Just anyway, actually main point is the same. That is called wisdom. So sentient beings have so much ignorance. We have lots of ignorance. That's we know sentient beings. That's why we are in samsara. Of course, being in the animal realm have the thickest and the strongest ignorance. Animal realm is the strongest, thickest, like the ignorance. There's 6 realms. Within 6 realms, Jigten Songkun said animal realm is worst realm anyone. The reason is animal is going more lower and lower. Because think about when you think about see the animals, they eat each other, hunt each other, right? So they all the time killing each other. That's due to that ignorance. They're going to lower realms. But maybe some your pets have maybe good, because you chant the mantras, you practicing, and you share this seeing liberations, hearing liberations, maybe have them to reborn higher realms, but maybe 99% animals going to more lower and lower. So higher realm, hungry ghosts, it could be, finish their karma going up to again, higher realms. But animal realms like going do more lower realms. That's why animal is low. The Jigten Sunggun says the worst realm in the six realms, within six realms, because they have a really thickest and stronger ignorance. So then you think this way, and also when you see the animals, you think about their so strong ignorance. You cultivate that, like comes more compassion to the animals. We can use this animal realm is we can practice compassion, our compassion. We cannot say all animal realms worst one. We main point you all understand this. Then when you see the animals, you comes more compassion to them. So it's good is like sometimes you watch this documentary in the animal channel. In Africa, they create, like they eat each other. It's miserable suffering. So you watch that, and then really comes compassion to them, and comes, recognize the ignorance. You really recognize the animal's ignorance. So we think the human realm is better than other realms, but human beings also have so much ignorance. We really don't have much wisdom. That is even when you look and see all that is going on in this world. Every human being wants happiness and joy, but due to ignorance, all of our suffering is created by human beings. It is created by ourselves. If we didn't have ignorance, then this world become the same as Devachin, but due to ignorance, this become a miserable world. Think about the human beings, we know that hunger and hatred is not great, but everyone is creating anger and hatred due to ignorance. When we think about the problem of ignorance, one clear example in this world is where each country puts its effort. They put effort in creating their military. That is actually due to the ignorance of all human beings. All of these countries actually want happiness, but they put more effort into building their military and weapons. What are they going to do with their military and weapons? They are going to do fight, care, and harm others. That is due to ignorance. So we told that is when we started this teaching. We actually want happiness, but we created the cause of suffering. Those causes are clearly there. If all of these human beings had wisdom, when there would be no need for an army, no need for any weapons, police, guns, or anything like that. Think about that. Wisdom helps this world become 100% peaceful. So why create these weapons, and why do all of these countries put effort into creating the military? That is all due to ignorance. Then think about the history of every country military, what their military has done. They have harmed each other, like each other, and created suffering for each other. No one is the winner. Everyone become the loser. Everyone is suffering, but that is what human beings are doing. That is what they are created due to ignorance. For example, think about the arrival of the coronavirus this year. What is the military going to do? They cannot care one small tiny bug. what are those atom, right, bombs going to do? They have all become useless. It is useless if they ever decide to use these weapons. It is terrible because they will destroy the whole world and the happiness of all human beings. That is all due to ignorance. This whole world and the human beings are all created the causes of suffering due to ignorance. We human beings really don't have any wisdom to understand the situation. Do you believe that part? Yes? Okay, see, that is, I think it's true, right? So if we have a wisdom, we don't need really all these weapons, militaries. If we don't have this, then we don't have to pay lots tax. This all money go to for the maybe more for poor people, and more for go to the education, and become is like the world is perfect. So see, we don't do that. The due to the power, actually is the every country want power. That is like self and I, and that is ignorance. The best on ignorance. Uh, so actually, in this world has everything resource, or is we have enough human beings can live peacefully, happy, joy. But some people too greedy, some people didn't have anything. So that's also due to ignorance too. See, actually human beings can stay peaceful, happy, joy in the world. It's become the devachin, purely, but we create our miserable sufferings, human beings ourselves. Uh, but still, right now, we just think it's great, because no using these atom bombs. When they're going to use this, is then think about it's miserable. So if when they use this, like then this world is going to destroy whole thing. It's future generations, no home. So who created this kind of danger weapons? Because our human beings due to self-grasping and ignorance. So that's we have to understand very clearly human beings problem. What is the difference in the pure lane and this world? The pure lane has wisdom. All beings who will be there or are already, they have wisdom. That is why they don't create weapons. They don't fight the lane. They don't have self-grasping. That is why they have joy and happiness. They don't have police or the army. There is measurable joy and happiness there because they have already purified ignorance. They don't need a police, because no crime there, no I and self there. So everything is naturally arising, whatever you want. So beings that don't have grasping, that's why we don't need a police and armies there, right? Uh, they have wisdom, and this is why there's happiness, joy there. Why are we suffering in this world? It is due to our ignorance. Generally, it is the ignorance of all of these countries. Then that ignorance comes all the way to your family and then to yourself. All beings created the causes of suffering. We ourselves created the causes of suffering and they due to ignorance. Families created the causes of suffering for each other. As long as we have ignorance, we have attachment and aversion. Due to that, then families created the cause of suffering for each other. Maybe the husband controlled the wife or the wife controlled the husband. Then due to their desire, attachment, they created the causes of suffering and fight with each other. The result is that they have no happiness or joy with one another. They both want to help each other, but actually they create the causes of suffering for one another. Likewise, due to ignorance, parents wanted to help their own children, but then actually create the causes of suffering for the kids too. Ignorance causes us to lose our freedoms as well, because attachment and desire cause us to lose 100% of our happiness and joy. That is why all of the problems, the suffering of human beings and all sentient beings arise from ignorance. Samsara means beings who have ignorance and who obscurations. The place these beings are is called samsara. Then how are you going to find permanent happiness and joy in samsara? It is not possible. So you cannot expect samsaric beings to be perfect. This is our misunderstanding. Samsaric beings have afflictive emotions and no one is perfect. Then who is perfect? Manjushri represents wisdom. As long as wisdom arises, this ignorance can be purified. As long as ignorance has been eliminated in your mind, you give rise to the four immeasurable within your mind, strengthen your then same as Manjushri. Okay, so that's all section is which I shared when we started the Manjushri teaching. So Amanda did all these transcriptions. We put in this area because it's more suitable for her. So, cut length. Sever the root text, sever the wisdom to cut the settling of suffering, the disparate darkness of confusion. So that's actually we already talked the last time. Okay, so that's all we already shared there. So do you believe that part or no? Everyone okay?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that is correct, right? We know this all human beings problems. What we doing? Okay. So now we go to that is always Manjushri's speech, press to the Manjushri speech. So he's sharing the Dharma and removed our ignorance. So the wisdom silver cut means like, don't think about the knife cut your ignorance. Knife is represented with Dharma teaching. So we have to practice the Dharma is antidote to the ignorance. Okay? Don't misunderstand. Don't use the knife to cut something, okay? Knife cannot cut your ignorance. Knife is only just representative and what is called is symbolize. Meaning of symbolize is wisdom. So wisdom is our knowledge, Dharma practice. Dharma practice is introduced to our ignorance. So the main point we have to practice the Dharma. Don't misunderstanding, okay? In long time ago, in Tibet, we usually talk about the readers. The family inviting usually the readers to home and ask them to read this Buddha's text. The then reader, he read the text. When he read the text, there's a fire not going to burn, water not going to, destroy, or wind cannot destroy, fire cannot destroy. So all this kind of emptiness quality, when he read, then he think, oh my goodness, this papers cannot fire burned. How come? Then he take the text, he put in the fire. He said, oh, it's going to burn. Here says the fire not going to burn. So he burned hot text because he misunderstand. Okay, do you understand? When he read, fire not going to burn. Okay, so then he think it's the hot text. This fire cannot burn. He put the text in the fire. It's a fire, of course, burn. The paper is going to burn. So that kind of thinking where don't use a knife. Okay. So knife is symbolize our wisdom. Where does wisdom come from? Listening, teaching. And then you get wisdom. So now you create your knife. Because when you listening, teaching, you create your knife, wisdom knife. So this is not ordinary knife, okay? wisdom knife. Ordinary knife cannot cut the saddle of suffering. Ordinary knife cut, you get more suffering. You know, you get pain. Ordinary knife harm for others. This knife no harm for others, benefit for others. Cut our saddling of suffering. Okay, so that all is a part of praise to Manjushri's speech. So then next is going to the Manjushri's praise to Manjushri's body. So we can share this is next time. Tomorrow we don't have a teaching, so we have a morning practice. Tomorrow, you can join the morning practice like same as 9 o'clock. Then we're going to, so afternoon after that, like 11 o'clock, you can join the Yamintaka practice. If you're going to join Yamintaka practice or you want to practice Manjushri yourself, that's also possible. So whatever you need, you do that. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, is it the same Zoom meeting or what? For the Yamataka?
Yamintaka is no same Zoom meeting, so I don't know the Zoom meeting. Maybe you can watch the Ustream.
I think you have to register to get a link, and
Okay, all right, yeah. All right, I'll do that. Thank you.
Okay, anyone has a question?
I have a question. Sorry. I don't know if you can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. I had a question about the point you made about Dharma is integral to ignorance. Hold on, baby. Sorry. Just turn it down. Please, 2 seconds. The Dharma is integral to ignorance. I think I misheard that, or I'm remembering it incorrectly. Would you please repeat that?
I didn't hear clearly. Can you say again, please?
When you said Dharma is integral to ignorance, that point, could you please repeat that or rephrase it? I think
Okay.
I'm wrong.
Dharma is integral to the ignorance.
To the ignorant. Got it. Okay. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, who has a question then? Sandra, don't have a question today?
I have a comment. Do you remember when you were talking about, reincarnation? I was thinking, a lot of times we have pure vision, right? We have pure vision for our teachers. And maybe, everybody, if we practice properly, we keep pure vision. But it just seems like that interconnection, between students and teachers and having that view helps everyone. It helps everyone realize that state. Like,
yes.
It's really cool. Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good for I think it's more beginner really need that way. It's another method. Same as the Christian believe the creator gods, Tibetan believe the reincarnation is the same thing. So good for the beginners. But then you go more in the deeper understanding Dharma, then you really understanding. You don't rely on the God, you not rely on the reincarnation.
Khenpo, I have a question. Yeah. We know that the Dharma teaching has many levels, but how do we know we are on the right level? And, if we are in the wrong level, and how do we correct it?
So actually, so how to say, it's really hard to give you the answer for that. And long as you have a devotion and you really, devotion and your understanding, they have different these levels teachings. So some like teachings when you hear, so you don't you cannot accept yourself, but you understand, oh, it's different levels. Maybe some other people need this teaching. So keep that in the mind, and then I think it's okay, because like all these teachings is suitable. I mean, like some people not really suitable, but mostly people is suitable for all this. Long as you accept, you have a devotion, you can understand it, then it's suitable for every teaching for you.
Okay, so I understand that it's important not to criticize, and due to our limitation to understand the the level, high levels, but like if from the beginning level, and how do we know move on to next level? It's sometimes when you how do we have that kind of wisdom to know we should go further, or not to stay in the same place, to practice. So it's like the two-way, not too high and not too low. It's
So yeah, the Lily, your question is really good. Yes, like that. No criticize, even we don't understanding something, and we think, oh, I don't need this, but you have to recognize all this, and some other really need this one, that kind of way. Then it's guided this like, which is like suited for us. It's have to follow by individual. So that kind of like, I cannot really give you the generally answer there. Have to talk with the individual, and then as the individual, so what they need, like have to look to individuals, what kind of they need, like, and then I can share the individually, but cannot give one answer for everyone generally.
okay. I understand.
Yeah.
I give you an example that my feeling that my case. I'm currently studying one treatise, and I'm listening to the lessons that from two different teachers, and one I understand that both teachers talking the right Dharma, and they both are good, but my is that I'm only like one of them. Is that my problem, right? So in that case, I should just follow one teacher to study that, or it's kind of, I'm kind of confusing. I'm when I listen to the other teachers teaching, I know it's right, but some examples he give and cause me feel uncomfortable. So I know that's my own problem, my emotion, but as you said, if the Dharma give you some create an emotion for you, maybe that's not right for you. Can I say that in that way?
Yes. Yeah. So you can, you understand, you know, so like the teachers sharing Dharma is a perfect, then that's a good. So some ways like you examples like no suit for you, but then maybe you talked with the teacher, talked with them, or just use thing like have to take a little bit break, so practice more something, listening other teachings. So that's also, you have to make decision that. So what you have to do.
Okay.
And yeah, so that's actually, true. Like we to hear like kind of what we want sometimes. So the Dharma actually, the more performed is not what we wanted to hear. We don't want to hear that is performed Dharma. So you want to hear what you want to hear, that is not really Dharma to introduce your emotions.
Yeah,
So,
that's my question. So I should, even I can feel that my feeling is not right, but I know, I should correct that, or I should avoid it,
Yeah, you have to accept, you know, if sometimes like the Dharma means like, you know, the specially called Pitta instruction means directly hit our own problem. The pointing our own problem. So people don't want to hear that, you know. So people wanted to hear good ones where, you know, that is like not really Pitta instruction. That is still Dharma, but helps you, you know, is still your emotions stay there. Still your emotions be there. So one day, you know, anyway, that come out. So the Pitta instruction means really hit our own problems. You long as you can accept that, then that helps change us, can change us. So most people cannot accept that. And you know, right now we can see that, like, you know, our case, our group, and like I come to Western country and we talk lots teachings. Most people, you know, wanted to hear is what they want.
Yeah.
Then what they wanted to, you hear that they're happy, but you don't want to hear that. Then that just hear that is that just then think, oh, I don't want to get my answer, or didn't get my answer. Maybe I don't go back to listening again because I don't get my answer. But actually, it could be you get a really good answer, but the problem is you don't want to accept. That's the, you know, the problem.
Okay, I
So,
understand my problem. That
yeah.
understand my problem is that I want my change.
Yeah,
I want to change, not
about, like, I'm not talking about your problem, but our, you know, like who get that, you know, don't accept that problems. Like we have that, you know, kind of a difficulty for everyone has. Yeah, everyone has that problem, but the people don't want to accept that because due to self is there, you know, that's why self is there. That's why I don't want to accept.
yeah.
Yeah, so the good is like we have to accept. Some like if not really, like, even you just not talking like that answer or teaching is like not really directly hit our own problems, but just you know, like just answer is that not really the, you know, like whatever answer you get, and not related to your emotions, not related to your activities, like what you need, you ask questions. But that means like just teachers, like also we don't know how to give answer, you know. So that then just think, okay, maybe he don't understand what I ask question. You have to think that, you know, or maybe you think, oh, this is giving answer is like actually not really benefit me. It's okay, you know, you have to accept that.
Okay, accept.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So good is when you read the book or hear the teaching, when you get you ask question, get answers, whatever comes, like some really hit for our own problems. That is the best when if we can accept that. That really can help and change. So that's why I said I share you the Garchen Rinpoche when he be with the Khenpo Samdup. That time Khenpo Samdup, he really digging his problem. Yeah. So even Garchen Rinpoche, he said I have enough, you know what I'm doing, and I know how to meditate this Mahamudra and these things. He's sharing him. But Khenpo Samdup recognized the really problem is he's still kept in his heat-rated there. So long as he kept that heat-rated in his mind, Khenpo Samdup recognized Garchen Rinpoche didn't have his happiness come from his mind. And he cannot, then he always suffering there. He get difficulty suffering because due to that he kept the heat-rated in his mind. whatever other practice does, that doesn't much, benefit. So that's why he really digging his problem. Show that. And that is the corporate instruction.
Yes, I understand now. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So that's, usually the teachers don't talk to the students. It's you really close one. You really know the student need, want, key benefit. Then that teacher really share that. But usually teachers also just go easy way, don't digging problems. Someone you really dig your problems, then you have to recognize, oh, this is a really my teacher.
Appreciate it. Yeah, yes, yes.
Yeah, appreciate
Yes,
it.
yes, that's right. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay, so now we go back to the Manjushri, right? Manjushri,
Khenpo, may I ask a question?
yes.
I really appreciate Manjushri teaching. I really love Manjushri teaching, and I really agree with everything you are saying about Manjushri teaching. And I don't understand why, to me, it seems everything makes sense. But I have so much difficulty about the Yidam practice, and I really cannot, I cannot accept that, the Archie teaching or the story or all those kind of things. And to me, I just don't have a connection. What should I do?
You don't have connections, but then you just have connections with your guru, right?
Yes.
Okay, then you think guru and this protector is inseparable. Yadam is the same. Yeah.
So why do I have to think about my guru as a woman or something like that? I don't understand. My guru is my guru.
Truth
Why
is
to be
truly is like, when we chant the Tia Tong Gate Gate Parang Gate Parasam Gate Bodhi Soha means like the beyond this me and woman perceptions. That thought is not be there.
Okay.
That perception is gone beyond that,
So when I practice, I should not have any perception. And then if I don't have any perception, why do I have to think about Yidam deity? Then
Why
I
you
just
don't?
have to
Okay, so you compassion, wisdom, that's very important for you or no?
Yes.
Okay, compassion is achi, okay? Wisdom is a thing about Manjushri.
Okay, compassion is also challenging, and also the Buddha and everyone is the compassion. And I don't really know Achi, and I never heard of Achi for many, I don't know. It's just not my culture. We don't have an Achi there. So, but we have very strong Avalokite Swala chanting, and we have very strong the Guan Yin Pusa, the female form of the Avalokite Swala, and we have those, and we just don't have that connection with Achi. What should I do?
Okay, so that's good. You have Kanyin Pusa, right?
Yes, I love Guan Yin Pusa.
Oh, you love that. So you have Yadam deity then. You have that is Kanyin Pusa as your Yadam.
Okay, so I don't have to put Achi there. I can put Guan Yin Pusa.
Then it's okay. You don't have to think about Achi means Kanyin Pusa,
Okay.
Yeah, Kanyin Pusa means Achi because some people need benefit. Kanyin Pusa is become form body to benefit others. That is Achi,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And the other thing I want to ask is, when you were talking about Archie's story, it seems everything she was doing, helping other people. Many is they want a house, they want pass the test, they lost a wallet. Those guys is not about the Dharma practice. why a Dharma protector would grant those money thing and test thing. Why is that?
So people, have aspiration, pray to the Buddhas. So they has a compassion. So that's why if they're possible to help, they can help them. They are not attached to the wallet. Achi is not attached to the wallet. Achi is not attached to the money, but someone recourse to her, and her compassion is like, same as like mother love child. So child has problem calling the mother. Mother can have possible to help, so the mother can help that, right?
Well, if a good mother to their children, they usually just say that, well, everything in your life, sometimes you gain, sometimes you lost. And then the main thing is how to not to be too attached to your wallet. And you should be more like what your best, wish the best. It's not to ask you to help you pass a test or something like that. To me, it sounds very, very interesting. It's just
Okay.
not like
So-
teacher, normal like.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so Laming, think about it. The wallet is like, if really lose the wallet, benefit others, maybe Achi doesn't help you to bring back because more benefit for others, wallet losses. But then you lost, other also lost, no one can benefit. Then maybe Achi think is like, okay, bring back is benefit for that person.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why she helps bring back for him, right?
Why didn't Archie help him to realize impermanence? That's more important, isn't it? The wallet is impermanent. If you lost it, you lost it.
That
I'm sorry, I'm just being weird.
okay, so your question is very good. So we have to tell the Gabi Lama that, okay?
Okay.
You write later,
Thank
I
you.
can send him. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next time if I lost wallet, so I'll call you, okay? I'm not going to call Archie, I'm going to call Laming. So
You know what?
you
I
give me
lost
the
wallet.
instructions, that kind of meditate impermanent. I like that.
Yeah, well, you know what? I lost my wallet once because I have gotten Rinpoche's picture there. And I believe he will come back to me. 4 months later, I went to a store and asked them, and they have my wallet with Gachen Rinpoche's picture there.
See, that's Archie helps you.
I didn't ask Archie to help me. I just Gachen Rinpoche help me. So I don't have to ask
Gachen Rinpoche, he always ask Archie help. He say he cannot help, but he asks Archie.
Well, I just believe that my teacher
So he
was
pray,
there.
you ask Gachen Rinpoche ask Archie. So that's the same thing, come back to Archie.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, thank you, Khenpo.
Yes, thank you. Go back to the sadhana. Om Wange Shore Mo, Om Wange Shore Mo, Om Wange Shore Mo, Om Wange Shore Mo, Om Wange Shore Mo. The outer universe dissolve into light, which is absorbed into myself. I then dissolve into the Mom syllable, which dissolve from the bottom to the top nada, gradually becoming emptiness. I meditate in the bliss of non-duality of subject and object. Then once again I assume the form of Manjushri. No ju wo ye ran de ran ye jiang, to ge me de me re na de ba, rek de me me dong sa ra de jin ya, la riang yang ba ra ba we go re ju. By the light of your wisdom, compassion one, may the darkness of ignorance in my mind be dissipated. To realize all the sutras and the commentaries, please grant me the power of radiant wisdom. Dalo to mo me parab sarane Kadai denji yong lo to ba ye Lo de bo ben wa zar de so. Whenever I wanted to see or wanted to clarify my confusions, Lord Manjushri Kocha, may I have a clear vision of you without hindrance. You, Manjushri, have performed great deeds to the further limits of the 10 directions. For the benefit of all sentient beings, may they attain the perfection the same activities. Kanse tawaran do bam, kyunse chewaran do na yang, Khenpo Samdup Junye ne gime panen tongwara sho, soje nangen te to be semjin kendong drupse ser, Chetan Jayang Kyunse Bada So Choban Tendra Sho. Bodhicitta, the excellent precious mind, where this humble may arise, where this bomb may not decline, but ever increase higher and higher. By the blessing of Buddhas who attain the three kayas, by the blessing of the innate truth of Dharma, and by the blessing of the invisible Sangha order, may the Mary Asher bear fruit. By virtue as pure as white snow of the mountains, may the teaching of Renashiri flourish in the 10 directions and dispel the ignorance of all sentient beings that they will at last achieve the Buddha's perfection of wisdom. Sancho Sencho Rinpoche, Ma Che Pa Nam Chi Joro Che, Chi Pa Nyam Pa Ne Pa Yang, Kong Ne Kong Den Pe Wa Re Sho, San Je Ko Son Ye Pe Sin La Tang, Chi Nye Men Joro Den Pe Sin La Tang, Gen Den Me Sin De Pe Sin La Chi, Che Ta Ram Mo Yen Mo Lan Dre Pa Re Sho, Namda Kare Takar Gewati, Rinchen Tempai Soja Jeba Tang, Jikdim Meshe Tomo Namdara Shen, Tarsen Sanje Yishi Toparisho. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you, Khenpo.
Khenpo.
No
Thank you,
problem.
Khenpo.
Bye.
Everyone.
That was great. Thank
Khenpo.
you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Very appreciate
Thank
it.
you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.